Okay. Hello, and welcome to our very first Q&A. Can you believe that we haven't even done a Q&A yet?
Yeah.
It feels like by now that we should have probably done a Q&A. Anyways, we're doing it now. Let me get my phone because we got a lot of good questions and I want to get right to it. We'll be discussing, among other things, what advice would we have for parents who just got an autism diagnosis for their child. I think that's a pretty important topic. So we'll be talking about that. If this is your first time on our channel, consider subscribing so you can be part of our shenanigans more often. We would love to meet you. Yeah, I guess that's it. So without further ado, let's get right to it. I don't know which order to go in. Let me just... Jennifer Ramsey. Hello, Jennifer. I'd love to hear more about Isaac's IEP process and plans for school next year. How was your IEP this year? What will kindergarten look like for him next year? What type of therapy does he receive? Speech, occupational, ABA, etc. Thanks. Love your vlog and family. Thank you very much. And thanks for the question. Or multiple questions. Multiple questions. You snuck in more questions than you were allowed. JK.
They're all very related, though.
True. Excuse me.
You start.
I'm sick, by the way. Me start? Okay. Yeah. So I know at one point I had promised that I was going to go into more detail about how Isaac's IEP meeting went, because we had an IEP meeting a couple months ago, and I never did that. But there was a reason. It was because Isaac has an evaluation coming up. They do it every 3 years in this school. He goes to a public school, by the way. And he's in an integrated classroom, so I should get that out of the way right off the bat. But we have another IEP meeting after the evaluation that's coming up. So we're gonna we're gonna go over everything all over again and really set things up, because it is a transition year this year. We're going to kindergarten.
And he had the same teacher for the last 2 years, so he'll have a new teacher this year, and so that'll be new.
That's a change, big change.
But we do know that he will have a paraprofessional, like a one-on-one with him all the time in kindergarten, and we agree with.
We totally agree with that.
Yeah, I think
he didn't have one he didn't officially have one written into his IEP for preschool, but now it's going to be in the IEP, so this it's just official now. I think that's going to be something that's beneficial to him. Okay, she also asked what type of therapy he receives. He receives speech, occupational. He does physical therapy, and
they do ABA therapy too in his school.
They do ABA therapy in his school, and I think we're going to talk about ABA in just a minute. But in his IEP meeting that we did just have, they didn't exactly have an extended year summer program established that they thought would be perfect for him, so we requested that they create something, and they're going to do it. So I think because of that, there's a program now that other students are going to be able to take advantage of as well, a continuation of the services that he gets now, which is basically integrated classroom half the day and then seeing the specialists in a separate setting the other part of the day. Okay. Francisca Obregon. It's a very nice comment, but I am going to skip to the part where you asked the question. My question is, what are your thoughts about ABA? Oh, okay, so we're going to do the ABA now. Have you implemented it with Isaac? What was your experience? I'm a new sub, so sorry if you already addressed it. Thanks. So we are believers in ABA therapy. I think that there's just so many examples you can see out there of people making significant growth with ABA therapy, whether that be learning important independent life skills or like decreasing self-injurious behaviors, things like that. Like amazing things can be done with ABA therapy.
Like the positive reinforcers have always worked for Isaac. Like that's how we got him to be potty trained.
And letters have always been a huge motivator for him. And just in
general being super excited for him too. Like, yay, Isaac, like you did it. Like Cormac, our other son right now, gets ABA therapy through earlier intervention. And I feel like his hasn't been so much like at the table doing those kind of tasks. His has been...
Somebody asked about that. Excuse me. Somebody asked about what the ABA therapists do with Cormac, because the question was about Isaac, but...
they both get ABA.
We have experience with ABA with both of them, and it's different. What we want to see in Cormac is to sort of be able to hold his attention at a table. I'd love to see that, and for him to like complete tasks and keep his focus. So far, would you say that mostly they're chasing him around, sort of letting him dictate?
There was through early intervention, there was different places I could choose from for Cormac to get ABA, but the one I chose for him, which I feel like everyone agreed would be better for Cormac, was more like seeing what Cormac wanted to do and playing with him, and then really trying to get him to talk and do different things by like playing with him and almost like having him think it's just all fun.
Yeah, probably it's important to think about it as far as what specifically your child would benefit from, what sort of things you want to target. But as far as the ABA landscape in general, yeah, I think it's definitely something worth doing.
And Isaac does get some in school as well, as part of like his program at school. As far as getting more like at-home services.
Yeah, we'd like to get more. We've been on
Isaac.
so many waiting lists with him.
Just been on waiting lists.
It's been very difficult. It's been very, very difficult. I really hope we can get him in soon. I think that in his first round of ABA, Isaac helped him in the transition going to school. Going from nothing to going to school, and now that he's going to kindergarten, the next step up, it'd be really nice right from the get-go to have some services that we can sort of work with as far as skills that he's going to need in school, and then matching them up with what the therapists at school and teachers at school are doing.
He really likes like his routines and stuff like that, and that's really like good in a way. But then he can be very like rigid, and it's like hard to combat his behaviors and stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, if anything changes on that front, we'll be sure to keep you posted. Alrighty, KDB from VT, open mouth smiley face, from Vermont. I assume that means beautiful state. Was Isaac easier with bedtime when he was younger, like Cormac? Is the first question, and because we just did bedtime video the other day. A question for your Q&A. I was wondering how you guys feel about having another baby at some point. When you were pregnant, were you able to not stress about the possibility of having another child on the spectrum? Did you find yourselves doing a lot of observing and comparing?
What's the first question?
They said, the first question, I think I might have answered in the comments to them and saved the juicy one for the Q&A. But I guess I'll answer it here again. The first question was, I don't know.
I forget.
I have a horrible memory. Was Isaac easier with bedtime when he was younger, like Cormac? And I think it was sort of, it's just gone through so many different phases of positive and negative bedtime experiences.
The truth is, like, in a way, like, Isaac is, like, good with bedtime. Like, he goes to bed, like, we have a bedtime for him. Like, he goes to bed, like, before 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like every day. And
he'll
stays
crash
asleep.
all night.
Yeah.
He'll crash all night.
So
it's really
sleeps well.
Yeah, the stressful part is really just
the transition.
The transition, and it's not been like that for a long time. It's just building. So that's where we're needing to shift now.
I think in general, since he's older, he's more aware of just, I don't know, that he can stall and stuff like that.
I think the anxiety of the transition starts to creep in earlier as well, because he has anxiety. He has anxiety, OCD, and so I think that starts to creep in. That he knows that
with like
that fun time is coming. Yeah. And so it's just a matter of finding our strategy there. But that wasn't the juicy part of the question. How are we feeling about having another baby at some point?
Oh, we'll see. I feel like that's what it is. I like the idea of having 3 kids, and I like the idea of having a girl.
Right, I want 3 kids, and we're not shy about this, by the way. Most people will sort of try to play it down the middle and say like, "Oh, I don't care as long as it's healthy," but we totally want a girl, like no doubt about it, want a girl, and it has nothing to do with like increased prevalence in autism, and we'll talk about that because that was the next part of the question. In boys, it's just the fact that we would like to have the experience of having a female child. Like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
But no, like you said, I think it's like totally not right now.
It's totally like up in the air right now. We're definitely not going to right now, but we might have one more child like in the future. I feel like we do have time on our hands a little bit.
Yeah, we're not that old, we have the luxury of seeing where Isaac and Cormac and the whole family is in a couple of years, and then making a judgment call at that point.
Yes.
And then having our daughter. Think about the vlog content that
Another reason to have a baby. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll check back on you in a few years.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a no.
It's not a no. It's definitely not a yes.
Definitely not a yes.
You just think it would be another boy, so.
I do think it would just be another boy. I really do. That's just my sense, is that it would be another boy, and I would be a little bit disappointed.
Everybody who's ever had multiples of the same gender says that they just know the next one's going to be the same, though.
I think it would be. I do.
My mom had 2 girls before she had me, and she said that she was shocked that I was a boy, and I was always like, really shocked? It's still 50-50, isn't it?
It is. I just have a feeling that just because I want a girl so much that it would be another boy. So yeah, the other part of that question was when I was pregnant with Cormac, did I worry or think about autism affecting him, and did I compare and contrast like the way he was acting when he was little to what like Isaac did when he was little? And I'd say yes to that.
Yeah.
We already knew that Isaac had autism because he was 2.5 and he was already diagnosed, and so we knew.
Oh shoot, I'm actually running out of battery, so I need to
Switch that.
darn it. All right, give me a second. And we're back. What were we talking about?
When I was pregnant with Cormac and thinking about autism, and I said, all the stuff I said.
You said all that stuff that you said. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, so,
Oh, me? You?
go ahead.
Once Cormac was here and he was like newborn to 6 months, whatever, that type of range. I was thinking about it the whole time. I mean, you just
We definitely were.
You just do, you know.
Because
and
of Isaac, so we were thinking about it.
really preparing for it, just knowing, you know, like that, you know what, that's fine. Like, let's just see how it goes, and then, you know, we'll deal with that when it comes.
One really actually good thing about like being a little worried about it is that I set up an appointment for him to get evaluated by an autism specialist. I set it up like when he was 6 months old. I made the call because I knew there'd be a wicked long waiting list, and there was. He didn't
Right.
get seen till he was like 20 months old. I just said we didn't really see signs yet, but his brother has autism, and I wanted to get like right on the waiting list to be seen. So they said, oh yeah, that's a good enough reason. So I thought that was a good thing. So I feel like if anyone had like another child after having a child with autism, that they should consider that, because the waiting lists are just so long to see.
You can't really lose in that scenario. You know, you cancel the appointment later, fine, but otherwise you're gonna have to get on the waiting list much later. It worked
Right.
out for us too, because it was a long waiting list.
It was wicked long. So yeah, if like back to the other question, if we had like another child, if we were pregnant again, then I would do the same thing. Like we would
Yeah.
think about
Yep.
think about everything they were doing and their milestones and all that, and I would also like make an appointment for
It would be the
them
same
to
process
see.
again. But
Yeah.
no, that's not going to be a determining factor on whether or not we have another child. I think it's going to just more be where we're at as a family in general. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lucky42, how you doing? Okay, here's my question. I noticed that Isaac refers to himself in the second or third person a lot, especially when he's repeating something you guys tell him. Is that typical of kids on the spectrum? Rachel.
I know his speech therapist said that she's seen that a lot. So
Yes, she did say that, and it wouldn't surprise me if it were typical of kids on the spectrum. It's something that Isaac has been doing for a while, yeah, which we're actively working on.
Yeah, they have that in his IEP actually.
It's written right in there,
learning
yeah.
to use more of the first person
Pronouns
pronouns.
correctly, yeah.
Yeah, and like as far as Isaac, obviously, like you can hear that he talks and says sentences and everything, but he is still delayed for his age in speech. So that's just like a part of his being delayed. That's an example of that. Is him using like the wrong person and stuff.
He does well when we're doing board games, by the way. I don't know if anybody else's kids have the same sort of difficulties with the pronouns, but when we're doing board games with Isaac and like it's about turn taking and things like that, like he's got that down. I hope that we can take like the board game success and sort of stretch that into just regular conversational sort of talking.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriela Medeiros, who I see in the comments like on the reg. Wow, the GoPro inside the bubble, it was amazing. Yeah, that was from obviously the bubble video.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, what do you guys do as work apart from vlogging? I've heard it's a lot of work itself. I can see the weather's improving every day. Yes, the weather is improving every day, except
In here in New England.
Yeah, we live in New England, and actually today wasn't that great.
You never
Tomorrow's
know.
not supposed to be that good
Yesterday
either.
was so hot, and today was cold.
In general, though, we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
What do we do? Okay, so Rachel is a world-class mom for a living, which is,
for a living.
well, it's much more difficult than my job. That is a fact. So
Yeah, no, I stay home with Cormac. I stayed home with Isaac too, but I did work part-time. But since Cormac's been born, I just stay home. But when he's going to start going to school when he turns 3. And so then we'll see. Like if I start.
There's a whole world.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like that would be
interesting.
like when I would really think about working again, even if it's just part-time. So we'll see.
Maybe you
with
could
that.
take over Vincentville yourself.
Yeah, I could. I'm not the technical person like Luke is.
No.
He's really good with that stuff.
You're not
and editing.
You're not.
I'm anti-technical.
I introduced her to the concept of a smartphone not that long ago.
I didn't have a smartphone until 2013, 2014.
That's why she's not very active in the comments. People ask for you in the comments.
I know.
She's like,
I'm not very good
what
with
do
that stuff.
I don't know what do you do.
I like to watch like makeup gurus on YouTube.
Are you
That's, like,
subscribed to Vincentville?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm subscribed to Vincentville. But I think it took me like a few months.
Did it really?
I think so.
That's funny. As far as my career goes, I am in. I work for a software company doing quality assurance. So that's the moneymaker. But you are absolutely correct in saying that vlogging is a lot of effort. So I want to like step up our efforts in creating more content, but it's gonna require me figuring out a new schedule. I'm gonna have to really figure that out. I'm not personally satisfied doing one video a week. I want to just engage and just create more than that. So
We want that to
It's
be
tough.
our full-time thing.
yeah, so that's the thing. Yes, that is part of it. We would love for YouTube or Vincentville, wherever that might branch out, to be like what we do for a living. That would be amazing. So
Yeah, we have like other ideas, like
wanna-
branching off. Of, like,
yeah,
YouTube.
and I mean, I always want to make videos. Like that's like what I'm passionate about, and so I want to grow Vincentville right here on YouTube. I think actually somebody else asked about that. Am I skipping someone's question? No, that's okay. I won't be shy about saying that. Like I want this to be what we do. Like this is super important to us. So
super important and exciting, and feel like it's like a niche that we fit into.
I love
with our
it.
family.
I love it. What I want to do is see some growth, and I want to, just like go for it. So we're gonna need your help. So you're gonna subscribe and hit the bell and share us with everybody. If you're enjoying what you're getting at Vincentville, please share it with your friends and family. I really appreciate that. I genuinely would.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's a good one. This is a good one this is like FAQ. This is asked all the time from Jen Sheehan. How do you get those fish on the TV? My son would love that. That actually is like, I'm kind of joking as it being like an FAQ, but we have gotten that question many times.
It looks really cool.
Can you actually? You can't see it. If I change the exposure, it's referring to. This is
Our fish tank.
that is our fish tank. Right there.
The easiest fish tank in the world.
So to repeat the question, how do we get that on our TV? It's just a screensaver on our Roku. I'm a big fan of the Roku, by the way. So if you want to buy the Roku just to get the fish screensaver, go ahead and do that. We don't have cable, like we don't play that. It's funny though, remember we were talking about getting a fish tank because Isaac loved the fish tank at the doctor's office?
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my gosh, I wonder if we should actually get a fish tank. Like, that's too much work, right? And then we got this Roku. It's the Roku Ultra. I'll link it in the description if you want to check it out. But I think you can get the screensaver app if you have a different Roku too. It's just funny because they loved fish tanks so much, and then we happened to get this Roku the next week, and it just automatically came loaded with that screensaver, and so it comes up all the time. And Isaac has like chosen out which fish
to each of us
belongs to all of our family.
Yep, I have my own fish. You have your own fish.
Yes, we've all been assigned a fish.
Yep. But like the Roku in general is really cool.
Oh, I love the Roku. The Roku's my jam.
There's like almost any kids show that like you could watch on cable. Like you can like watch certain episodes of it. Like
the PBS app.
The PBS app.
I mean, it's not. I mean, you gotta pay if you want everything, but
yeah.
But it is just a really. I just like it as a streaming device because I'm sorry, I'm super popular. I just like the Roku as a streaming device because it's sort of down the middle. It doesn't try to influence what content you watch. Like Apple will try to get you to do this, and Amazon will try to get you to do that. And Roku is just like making a quality product and offering you a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I'm a fan.
Plus, like the Apple remote is too small.
We had an Apple TV, and that was my enemy.
Too small.
Press the little buttons. Roku. This is from Ashley Helena. Helena like Montana? Maybe. What advice would you guys give to parents whose children have just been diagnosed? I have a son who is going through the process. Do you guys plan on ever adding to your family? We actually did address that, so we'll skip over that one. just wanted to say thank you so much for sharing your life with us. It's inspiring and comforting to know we are not alone. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, and we felt very alone, actually.
We did. Funny enough, we did feel very alone. And so, like, to think about where we were when we first got that diagnosis and the months after that, feeling super, super alone, maybe even like the year following that, to where we are now, like sharing and interacting with people on the internet. It's crazy. It's like a crazy 180 in like a wonderful way.
That's like a thing, like when you like find out that like your child has autism, like you've heard of that before, but like at least with us, we didn't know other people whose kids had autism, so we just felt so very like isolated.
I guess that's one really point of advice then, isn't it?
To just like, realize that there's like a whole community, like YouTube is awesome. Like,
be willing to reach out
yeah.
and, you know, because you might not know anybody personally who's has autism as such a significant part of their life, but they're around. They're around you. They're around you. They're on the internet. You can find it, you know, very easily. And it's super helpful and supportive to have a system like a support system like that.
I would say like, like after you find out about your child's diagnosis, just like, I don't know, just take it all in.
For me personally, like I would say to like whatever emotion that you're naturally feeling when you get an autism diagnosis, allow yourself to feel that. Like you might feel like it's unfair, you might be angry, like whatever emotion that you're going to have, you could be sad, like because it is a big deal. As much as like I love to show the beautiful side of autism on our channel,
and how it makes like our son's unique.
Yeah, it's not like it's not a big deal. So let that, you know, let it really sink in, like feel it, you know? I think that sort of vulnerability of letting that affect you, how it's going to affect you in those early days might lead to you being more open down the road. If you keep it bottled up, you might feel like, you know, I can't say anything to anyone. Like they don't know, it's none of their business. And I might have felt a little bit that way. I've seen people be almost like crippled by that sort of mentality. Like you got to keep it a secret or something. But I think we've ended up finding that the opposite is true. And the more you share with your friends and family or whoever, the more of a healthy environment your family's going to grow into.
Well, that's more like awareness you're creating.
Exactly. So you got
put
it out there. Yeah, put it out there.
Be ashamed to tell people that your child has autism and stuff like that. You'll get used to the way your child is, and you'll like get the help that you need. Like that's like the good thing, like about getting diagnosed is you can start to get more help.
Go ahead.
You can actually like say like okay, that like makes sense. That's why my child's acting this way.
Provide some answers too. Yeah,
it's because they have autism, and then you can get like more help, more support, more therapies because you know.
I don't think that I was like a closed-minded individual before getting an autism diagnosis completely, but I wasn't completely open-minded either. And so for me personally, when we got the diagnosis, it sort of flipped everything on its head. And it took me months to adjust, but I felt at that point like I just had way more understanding for everybody at that point. Like everything had more meaning. And as far as my own life is concerned, something that I thought was somewhat devastating has turned into something that I am pouring myself into passionately. So it's why we're here right now. So I think that there's definitely some awesomeness in the future. It's a roller coaster, like lots of things. It's a roller coaster.
Yes, there'll be like good days and bad days, and sometimes your kids will like start to do really well, and then they'll start to regress. And like,
I don't know. Was that a really long answer?
Yeah, but it's a lot to that question. That's like a start of like a whole new life.
It's the start of a new life.
That's how I feel, and it's hard, but it's great too, I think.
We're here for you.
Vincentville's here for you.
Vincentville's got your back. That's all you need to know. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for this Q&A. I am sorry if you thought you were going to see the boys in this video.
They're asleep.
A lot of times people probably just tune in to see them.
I'm sure they do.
This is the first video we've ever done where we just sat down and talked the whole time without the boys. So a little bit different style for us. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe we'll do another one if you guys got something out of this.
I like answering questions.
You do?
I do. Like, I like this because then, like, I don't actually have to, like, go on the internet.
Oh, right.
Just,
this way you can just, this is easy for you. I just want everything to be super easy for you. So whatever I can do.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back with another vlog.
Wednesday.
A couple days. If you're new here, subscribe and introduce yourself. We'd love to meet you. And yeah, we'll see you next time. What are we doing?
Wish you hit away.
How about just a high five to end it?
Okay. Yeah.
No, that was terrible.
All right, ready? There you go.
We're gonna wake the boys up.
I know.
Okay.